Hey movie junkies, welcome back to Twin Flicks, where we here celebrating the magic of movies and most importantly, physical media with you. So today we're talking about an early 90s classic from director Ridley Scott, and that is Thelma and Louise. Ridley Scott, man. Early 90s Ridley Scott, you can't go wrong. Thelma and Louise. Now, the last Blu-ray, which is this one here, was back in 2011 for its 20th anniversary. But this Blu-ray was 12 years ago, and advancements in TVs and technology have come a long way since then. And it didn't look like we were ever going to get a new transfer that would solve some of the issues with this Blu-ray. Until now, when Criterion stepped up to the plate, going back to the original 35mm negative, giving a whole new 2023 4K restoration, forming a native 4K DI with the added benefits of HDR10 and Dolby Vision grading. And Criterion brought in Ridley Scott, not just to approve the new transfer, but also to supervise over the new restoration. So let's dive in and take a closer look between the new 4K UHD against the previous Blu-ray and if it's worthy of an upgrade. Now, Thelma and Louise has always been a very bright-looking film, and this 4K completely stays faithful as much as possible to Ridley Scott's original vision. This is an extremely impressive 4K UHD presentation, showcasing the visually beautiful cinematography. Color reproduction is honestly tremendous, with the HDR10 Dolby Vision grading that only enhances what's already there. Primaries especially look more stable, vibrant, and lifelike than the Blu-ray did, and the makeup on Thelma and Louise is vibrant. The explosion near the end of the film really ignites the screen and pops with beautiful red, orange, yellow fireball. Whereas you can see on the Blu-ray here, the fireball look kind of faded or a little bit blown out. Skin tones are also warmer looking and more natural, where the Blu-ray, the skin tones lean more towards a more palish look. But it's when we get on the road with Thelma and Louise where the 4K really shines. The daylight and dark nighttime shots of the vast desert scenery looks extraordinary, now revealing much more delineation with all the earthy tones, the sepia and the desert browns. The bright sunlight splashes wide open over the spaces, looking beautiful and much more lifelike as well than the Blu-ray did. The nighttime drive is where the Blu-ray kind of really suffered from. The drive through Monument Valley is among the 4K presentation's strongest highlight. Whereas on the Blu-ray, it just didn't handle that well, with some crushing, and I also noticed a little bit of grayish blacks, as if the blacks were brightened up on the Blu-ray. Here with the 4K, we now have all those deep inky blacks and rich velvety shadows and shading that we all love to see. The white levels are also on point here, looking very natural and brighter whites without any blooming issues or hot spots, which is another thing that the Blu-ray suffered from, which was blooming issues. Details and textures are also very strong and active here, with razor sharp clarity and finer lines, and I didn't notice any kind of artificial sharpening done. Close-ups reveal makeup, wrinkles, strands of hair, beads of sweat can all be seen with clarity, and the details stay very active in many of the wide angle and close-up shots. A highlight here is when we're in the desert. You can see every pebble, line, and imperfections on the road and the side of the road as well. The mountain landscapes looks absolutely incredible, especially when compared to the Blu-ray. I think the biggest improvement here with this 4K is the vast increasement of depth and three-dimensionality. It's just profound. This is where the Blu-ray really suffered from, where a lot of the scenic shots just look very flat. Here now we have a true sense of spaciousness and depth, creating much more natural and lifelike imagery than honestly I've ever seen it before on home media. The grain structure is fully intact here, giving us a constant 35mm grain field that we love to see, and the bitrate ranges from around 70 and peaks out around 85, 86. This is hands down how a film should look with a new 4K restoration and is a prime example of how it's done. This is a top shelf grade A 4K presentation that just looks beautiful. As for the audio, Criterion also gave Thelma Louise a new DTS HD lossless 5.1 track that was sourced from the same Blu-ray track but beefed up, and it's a stellar track. This was also approved by Ridley Scott. Now, obviously, the film is very front-heavy, with the surrounds geared more towards music and atmospherics, car drive-bys, and the occasional gunfire and explosion. There's also some great off-screen dialogue as well, and some off-screen action. Dialogue is rendered exceptionally clear here and clean, hearing every word, even over Hans Zimmer's score and the pop tracks and sound effects. While it's not an extremely active surround track like modern movies are, it is definitely a demo-worthy track. Honestly, I just wish that they would have gone the extra step and redid this as an Atmos track. That would have just been the cherry on top. Well, I'm going to be giving Criterion's 4K UHD presentation of Thelma and Louise. I'm giving it an overall score for video and audio a 5 out of 5. This is just a stellar 4K UHD presentation that knocks the old 20th anniversary Blu-ray out of the water. Ditch that sucker and add this one to your collection. It is definitely worthy of an upgrade. All right, now I'm curious though. Head over to the comment section. Let me know, when you look at the differences here between the Blu-ray and this new 4K UHD, which do you think looks better? Head over to the comment section and let me know. Well, guys, I want to thank you so much for hanging out with me for a few minutes here and comparing Thelma and Louise, the 4K, against the Blu-ray. We can get rid of that thing. As always, guys, keep physical media alive, and I'll see you next time.